So the body will sign up for a lot of chanting. It's not a body. It will. It does because every chant, every negative chant is affirming the body. I didn't see that, but then I did quickly about a week later. And that was the end of that. I'm not a body. And what's not a body doesn't have to say it's not a body. Yes. Yeah. So something is free doesn't know it's free. That's part of being free. You're free from the knowledge of if you're free or not. You just don't care. You don't care if you're free or not. You're liberated from the need to be liberated, literally. Yeah. So by chanting I'm not a body, it was quite useful because it was a pointer. And this is really the greatest pointers are the failure of trying to arrive at where you already are. So they're the greatest pointers. They usually aren't easily arrived at, but I believe non-duality presents a simple understanding of that. Yeah, that the reason why you're not going to get it is because you are it. Yeah. So all the other reasons you thought you weren't going to get it, maybe because you did something terrible or usually you didn't do enough, basically, and more was required. And if there was 108 rotations around the statue, you would throw in extras, 112, and kissing the the foot of the guru, he'd start shaking the foot because you wouldn't, thinking more of it was going to produce something. But in a sense, those events are meant to fail on one big level. And of course, it sucks when you're trying to achieve something and you keep failing. Obviously, you start blaming things and making excuses and come with a rationalization. But usually the end part is you get blamed somewhat. And then that thing just demands more. So now you try to do more, and more seems to be the only answer, really. And you watch it when you first got introduced to meditation, you weren't on a 30-day retreat. It was like maybe that night, a Friday night, you'd go there from 7 to 9. You'd sit for 30 minutes, break, maybe 30 more minutes, then a little goodbye, and there you went. But what happened is, wow, okay, I'm going to sign up for the weekend one. So you go 2 days, and it's all cool. I mean, you're feeling better about yourself. You're not drinking and watching the X-Files at home on Friday. You're meditating. So you're getting some cred from the God playing. Yeah, the God is giving you a little break. So you do the weekend, and then you start, oh, I'm interested in this. And then you start, where are the retreats that I can go to? And then maybe a 5-day, 7-day, then 10-day. And after you hit the 10-day mark, then the variations happen. You now are doing longer retreats and they're mixing stuff up. They're mixing like foot massages, really good vegan food, maybe some kayaking because they're having it in Costa Rica or something. So it becomes like a vacation, but you get the creds of spiritual activity. It's pretty good. Yeah. You get a tan with it, just like today. You're getting a tan, and you could say, I didn't go out to get a tan. I went to satsang and I got a tan as a byproduct. Pretty good. Yes. And satsang's a good sunscreen. You're getting tanned by the inner light. It's pretty good. So obviously these things would fail, and we didn't see the value of it. I didn't anyway. And then there was reincriminations, and then you would hope like the teacher did something fucking bad, so you could excuse yourself. Oh, it was him and her, whatever. But basically, the evidence was staring you right in the face, and it's never the idea of you isn't ever going to get it. It's not. It's not going to get it. We have it in recovery for many, many people who work much, much harder to get out of something, which was called self, and they couldn't get out of self. Yeah. So self can't get out of self. Now you can get out of self because you're not in self. Yeah. but self cannot get out of self. And this is the dilemma, because you and self in most cases are synonymous. So you are seen as, you're emphasized as a you, but basically you're a self, and self can't get out of self. Try to convince Paul that. It's very difficult, or Bill, or Mary, or Julie, especially if there's been a lot of investment in getting out of self. Yeah. I mean, your whole life is based on trying to get out of self. Yeah. And so self has grown an identity out of it. So it gets a little even belligerent when you point out to you, hey, Paul, you as you're composed right now can't get out of self. I beg to differ. Yeah, I just haven't done enough. I haven't met the right teacher. I haven't this, that. The family's dragging me. I can't take a vow, and that would do it because I have familial things and stuff. But basically, if you see it from non-duality's view, it's failing because you can't get into what you never left. Yeah, you can't arrive to where you've never left. So it's a hallelujah. Finally, those failures, and I'll tell you something. I lost interest, let's say, in spirituality, but the failures and the feeling of being the doer still smoldered around there. Yeah, like an ember that could get kicked anytime I heard someone say, "Oh, I entered the 11th dimension" or something. Oh, fucking, let's gear up there. You know what I mean? How much is going to cost? I want to, so it would be smoldering, the memory of all that stuff. It would. You say, well, I put the light out on that one, but no, it's still there, potentially ready to go. So I heard this message, and it put an end to things here. I can only talk about its effects here because in itself, there's no effects or causes. Yeah. Awareness doesn't get more aware. And I don't believe there's breeds or high or breeds of awareness like radical awareness and pure awareness. I'd like to see someone tell us, point that out to us when we're completely immersed in awareness. There's radical and pure. I don't believe so, humbly. Now, uh, maybe the consciousness that's trying to become aware of awareness becomes radical and pure, but it's also defined as consciousness, which you can be aware of the consciousness. Consciousness has difficulty being conscious of the awareness, yeah, because it's in it all day and it's not picking it up most of the time. Yeah, it isn't. I mean, it's sort of like consciousness here is like a light in a field of light. Yeah, but it's like a defined light in the field of light. That's not going to pick up the field of light. It's already in the field of light. It would have done it a long time ago. Yeah. So this isn't even about being conscious. That's a fact. That's what we are. Most people don't want to be conscious. Why would someone watch Die Hard 11 after watching the first 10 movies? The first one was good, but then it sucked ever since. What would make them watch 10 more or 11 more? They just want to distract themselves from what? From being awake. Yeah, it's a drag for a lot of cases. That's why people have a smile when they're sleeping. They get relieved of that bondage of being awake for 12, for 8 hours. So this stuff fails. Fantastic. And it doesn't fail and it doesn't have anything to do with you. So there's no like remnant of guilt or shame. It failed because you are what you're looking for. That was the simple message of non-duality. Simple message of non-duality. One of the first introductions to me was a statement by St. Francis, and that was, what's looking is what you're looking for. Yeah. It didn't say who's looking, because that's where we usually start. It was saying what's looking. So I would say the who's looking is in the same space of the what's looking. And to realize what's looking is what you're looking for, there's got to be a loss of interest in the who's looking. Yeah. Because the who's looking is giving everything else the meaning it has and giving itself the bigger meaning. So there's God, but the knower of God is going to be even more important, which is it. Yeah. So it's what's looking is what you're looking for. Why is that not being obvious? Because there's a seeming who's looking. That's the who is really the name of the claiming of the what. Yeah. So what's looking gets claimed by the head and is presented as a who. And now who is looking for what it is. Yeah. And it's using what it is to look for what it is. So it can only get away with it by not meeting it. Yeah. So right here is what's looking, is what is, yeah. And then what's looking is what you're looking for. And then there's the who's looking. Yeah. And basically, just like, something with us, if the interest and attention gets drawn into one thing in a room, it forgets the other stuff easily. You don't even see it. I have an idea where I put the glasses when I've lost them, and that idea causes me not to see that they're right there. And when my attempts, so I know where I left it, when they drop and I realize I don't know, I go back to the kitchen table and there it is. Like someone placed it there as a joke. But I was staring right at it, but I had an idea that it was somewhere else. That idea, someone else actually covered up the sunglasses, seemingly. Yes. So this is what's going on in the head. We're right in the midst of what we're looking for. But one of the ways of not opening up to that is looking for it. Yeah. Yeah. Looking for it would imply stubbornly that you're not what you're looking for. Because if you were, there would be a huge decrease in looking for it, like 100 to 0. And it wouldn't be like it went to 90 because you vowed something, 80 because you prayed, 70, you had a dark night of soul. No, it would go from 100 to 0 like that, because you realize what's looking is what I've been looking for. That's the end of the looking for. I mean, you can be convinced, something in us can. And it's not going to be a gradual drop down. It's going to be 100 interests. The emphasis is the who's looking for, yeah, for what's looking. And suddenly you realize you're not that which is looking for. It goes right to 0. Yeah. No, it doesn't like, oh, this is going to take years of, no, it just, you lose interest in it completely. Like, I mean, not the losing interest that comes with like shiny objects. I mean, a deeper interest. You just lose it completely. Yeah. And that, it wasn't even faith. It was just a simple recognition of truth, which also starts attracting faith. So now faith gets behind something that's reliable instead of faith driving something that's unreliable. Yeah. And if you've ever been in any form of addiction, most of the problem of the addiction is in the head. The head goes totally bonkers. Your emotional growth gets frozen usually. So if you started drinking heavily at 12, you basically stop emotionally growing. So this is a lot of times what really recovery is growing up, because you're just like a baby. You want your way, and you start throwing tantrums and shit like that. And finally, you just grow up, and your emotional condition may, this condition was, I was incapable of having a viable relationship with another person. That's an amazing condition. I was viable at it earlier on. I loved my grandmother as much of as naked love as there could be. Seriously. Yeah, there was no problem loving. What happened? The head developed and there became a problem. And I sort of got walled off, sort of as a protection, like insurance. Yeah. But unfortunately, it protected stuff from the outside, but it stopped stuff from the inside going out. It stopped shit from the outside getting in, but also stopped which wanted to express couldn't get out. So it wasn't really, in duality, it doesn't work if because one way locks the other way usually. Yes. So every door in duality has locks on both sides. So if one of them, it locks when you open the other. So you open one thing and you're thinking this is the freedom, the door to freedom, but now it's locked on the other side. And we don't get it, but this is duality, literally. Yeah. So, all right. So what's looking is what you're looking for. Well, then who is it that's looking for all fucking day? Well, okay. Well, maybe I'm not that. What? Oh yeah. I want to sign up for improvement. No, maybe no improvement is necessary. Whoa, it really flips out. It starts playing its golden oldies and shit like that. You've invested. Look at your knees. That operation came from meditation. Yeah, you got to keep going, man. And then basically the gig's up. You find your head is in the tiger's mouth and you're past the point of pulling it out. You better get ready to be digested by it. And there you go. Yeah. And then things that had been really shabbily explained and they really had nothing to stand on, you know, uh, you saw the reason why nothing worked was because it was not supposed to work. Its working was to fail you, so you would stop waiting for a savior to save you because you don't need to be saved. Yes. Now, that which you think you are probably needs to be saved, but what you are doesn't need to be saved. Yeah. And so now you start, when life hits you, and then there's the reaction or like a music note is thrown, and then there's an echo. The wall gets moved, and now life hits you somewhere and you hear the ball much different. And then it takes a different angle when it bounces back and things start looking, maybe you'll get into a recognition of a lot of coincidences happening, not just for you, but you're here, so you watch it and you see a lot of people, things are lining up. Like I have a thought all the time about someone, and the next morning they call me up. It just happens like this. And you're like, instead of just going back to the same old, like, mental pablum and oatmeal every day, you wait a minute. So you start noticing no answer. You're just, your curiosity and wonder opens. Yeah. Wow, things are going on here a lot different than how the head sees things are going on. And I think I want to subscribe to that instead of the head subscription. Yeah. Now, I thought still at that point, there was a lot of the head I thought was me. I did. And I thought I was going to have to get undone to really like be re-sewn into the fabric of my essence. But over time, it was very obvious that there's a whole lot of what I call me that's not me. A whole lot, much more than I ever imagined. Yeah. So, and I would watch people who would share about these great events, but in a sense in time, they weren't so great because nothing really ever changed, but because they were expecting these mechanical aspects of their experience to be theirs. And when they had this giant awakening, they thought everything about them would be tickled or vibrated differently. And they were super bummed when they were still an asshole, let's say, concerning one topic. And it disqualified them from their innate condition because they believed their condition was it wasn't the condition. It was a made up the condition that was based on the other conditions. Yeah, which what we are isn't based on other conditions. Yeah, it's before them. So for you to be what you are, the other conditions don't have to line up. They don't. They can be hanging out like a sore thumb still. Doesn't change a fact. Yeah. Yeah. So there's such a and who thought that it would be loss of interest would be one of the greatest movements of it? I didn't. I thought my interest would have been like chiseled into a fine surgical thing and equanimity and discernment, and I'd be cutting through the spiritual materialism. No, it was that would be a myopic view, and this was a panoramic view. Things just There was a bigger space to hold things. And then those things in a small space that seemed so big, in a bigger space seemed to be not so big. Yeah. They still were seen as the same thing, but the bigness and the size and the value and the emphasis and the meaning changed. And to me, this has been the traveling lighter, really. And that's really what we can describe here is how what we're not is traveling. And I feel like what you're not cannot produce what comes from what we're of. Yeah. But what we're of can express through here. I do. And I believe if you're traveling lighter in this place, it's not because of the in, it's because of the of. The of is getting more play, so to speak, and the in is getting downsized. You're not doing shit, you're just observing it. Yes? You're not the maker of anything or the destroyer of anything. You're just you're an observation, and then expressions occur based on observations. Yeah. Yeah. And the basic frame of the expressions would be traveling lighter. That's all. Like shit that would last 36 hours, lasts 3 hours. Yeah. Thing that would lead you to a 5-year prison sentence. You just were a little slower getting to the next exit off the freeway. Things that could have been like Armageddon. No one else noticed fucking anything. It was all happening in the head. And yeah, I don't believe there's any value in awareness as awareness. I don't. I think here there's value. In this dreaming, there's meaning given to things. And really the greatest relief, the greatest meaning that delivers relief is what you're not. Yeah. By seeing what you're not, you'll get a sense of what you are, which is the awareness of what you're not. Yeah. And in that sense, something that couldn't be produced in the in expresses in the in. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have the ability to understand this kind of peace of mind, like they said in the New Testament. It's a peace that passeth understanding, but it's only our understanding it's passing. Yeah, it's well understood inside. The mental logic can't get it. Yeah, the mental logic cannot get it because the mental logic takes itself as a hammer and looks at everything as nails. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. So now it isn't like if you find that you have failed, it's not like whipping you into a better condition. You recognize, yeah, it's not me and it fails. Yeah. Especially in the role of being me. Incredibly, it does not do well in that role. Yeah. Other roles that it will fall back on, it may do well. It will. But that role of, the sunning is all over. Yeah. Okay. She's going from the hot pool to the cool pool. We're at the spa here. Yeah. The spa wanted to be different. They hired me. Because it's not like usual satsang. So now I'm in a spa. I get free lunch and I use the hot springs for free. So thank you. Thank you for participating. All right. So yeah, that's it, I think, with that. If you want to know what's the quickest thing in time, I would say it's the mental process claiming the conscious contact. Yeah. So conscious contact triggers the event. The mental process claims that with a prejudice to begin with. It has a bias and it wants to narrate and interpret everything else to reinforce that bias, which is if there's a verb, there must be a noun. So if there's seeing, there must be a seer, hearing, hearer, feeling, feeler, tasting, taster, smelling, smeller. And in fact, if that gets established, all you can have after that is an interpretation, literally. Yeah. Now that's what the head is giving and offering. And that's what the head is as an interpretation. Thank God we are not of that interpretation. Yeah. So you are before time So you can see the quickest process in time. You can see it, not as the product of the process, but before. Yeah. So you can see that which you used to look from. You can see it. And you see that perch did not grow in a natural tree. It's mental scaffolding, fucking very unbalanced, very weak ladders are putting you in that perch. And there's a constant fear that you're going to fall off and not get what you want. Yeah. Yeah. So if you see that, does it change the mental mechanical activity? No. The head does the same thing it always does, which is if it's brought into conscious contact, it says if there was seeing involved, I was the seer. Yeah. Now I thought that would stop, but it didn't stop. And that obviously told me that it's not me. Yes? Yes. So now all that used to verify what I'm not is reinforcing my recognition I'm not that. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good use. The use is totally changed. It used to be used to bond me to this idea of self. Now it keeps reminding me that I'm free from that idea of self. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, aha, yeah. She didn't pay her subscription. So the chair fell. All right. You better send that check earlier. All right. So yes. So this confronted with this was after the fact, basically. Most of the stuff that came in through my head, what allowed it to come through was the previous something, recognition. But then I started recognizing how what we're not is manufactured. It's all in time, yes, and it's in the mental processes. The elbow has nothing to do with it. The knees have nothing to do with it. The digestion system has nothing to do with it. The head has something to do with it. Yep. And thoughts are used to reinforce the idea of the thinker. Feelings are used to reinforce the idea of the feeler. All the seeing is used to reinforce the idea of the seer. Yeah. But seeing a seer is absolutely has no value to seeing. Yet without seeing, there's no seer. So the emphasis is hugely different. Seeing does quite well, seer, no seer. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Seeing is first, doesn't get affected with what happens after. But if we start at the after, then the after has a big effect on us. So when we start as the thinker, the thoughts have a lot of effect on us. Yes. Yeah. Feeler, wow, feelings can give in so much fucking meaning. They could ruin your Hawaii vacation, one feeling. Misinterpreted, really. Do you know how to interpret a feeling? I'd like to see a straight on feeling manual interpretation. Most people think excitement is anxiety. Yeah. Where does it start or stop? Where does a feeling? All right, that was a feeling. Fear. It's still happening. A lot of things jumped on the bandwagon. Mental anxiety. Now I'm in a state of fucking entering a lifelong depression. All right, same thing. Miracle. Oh fuck, that wasn't anything. Let's forget it. And you know that guy who took your seat at the meeting? Let's fucking emphasize him for a while. Forget the miracle quickly. But going into a lifelong depression gets all the fuel in the world. What? Yeah, this interpretation is not even close to being objective. It's completely biased from the get-go. Yes. The verb has to be underemphasized to emphasize the noun. So then you stop feeling like you're not alive because the living of it has been sucked out. And therefore you want to feel like you're alive. So you drink or use or do shit or cheat on someone to feel exciting and whatever like that, because you're in a dry condition of nounness. Yeah. It's just drying you up because the feeling, the seeing, the hearing, that conscious contact that's sort of like two wires, going like this, sparking the sparks out of your life. Yeah, it's all been electrically taped. Yeah. So the conscious contact and the experiences that come after are like electrically taped. And then you just get an interpretation of it and peace. And then it will tell you you're completely lacking when you're not, or you're completely full when you're not. Yes. And on and on and on. So the before is the most important moment in the world of time. Yeah. Because what happens before, yeah, is taken to be what's happening now. You're in the world of after. Yeah. And then that which we represent is the before, and it's sort of locked out, seemingly. It isn't, but for all intents and purposes, we think we stop at Paul. Yeah. And I'm the Alpha and the Omega when there's a whole something else. Yeah. So I really feel after and before in time, before has the much more influence than the after. And I believe that if something that comes before injects the idea that you're the doer and the thinker and the feeler and the taster, the processes that you and I could get into to try to change that will only reinforce its initial idea that you're the doer. So you'll try to do yourself out of the doer or see yourself out of the seer. I don't see it working. And I don't believe it's going to work if you just keep looking for it after, and it's actually right there before. That after can go a long, long time. Yeah. So that's it for me with that. And then you sit with it. You hear satsang, lots of people are talking. Find what works for you. I don't mean for you, the you that you're not. Yeah. A lot of people will tailor a suit to fit you. What you want to be is hopefully on that level of you, you're getting nothing. And in the world of nothing is everything, literally. But here in this world of something, getting nothing, the head will get bored and, it finally wants to get something. If you can just keep starving that, a lot gets revealed. But if you keep giving it nightly little, fucking crackers and fucking almond butter and shit, just goes on and on. So I like the idea of the desert tortoise and the coyote. The coyote would be like the seeker. And there's some meat in that tortoise. Then the seeker has been told there's meat. And then the seeker tries, and the tortoise knows it's going for the meat. No matter what. Oh, I love tortoises. No. So the tortoise withdraws. And then the coyote tries to figure out, and it comes quickly to a conclusion. It ain't going to get in there, so it leaves. Now, we don't. We're not as smart as the coyote. We'll just keep on thinking. But the beauty of the tortoise is it's giving you nothing because you're already everything. Yes? Yeah. You just have to get frustrated to a point where you stop, and then you'll see it. And what will help you to see it is the understanding of non-duality, like a pair of glasses, really. Because a lot of people see a lot of shit, but they need an explanation to have it really anchor here. They do. They need to have something solid, and non-duality, as empty as it is quite heavy. It doesn't get moved by shit. It's like a big anchor. And I think you'll come to conclusions if you wear those glasses. When you see things that you thought success was necessary, you'll really see the failure is the success. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Who's running it today? Who's doing the show?
Hey, Paul, Shannon and Martin is doing the live stream.
Oh, Shannon Corkery. Now we have two, Shannon Martin. Great. It's the youth of Zen Bishlat, which we sorely need. Yes.
Yeah, and Vlad and Jules
You're
on
in the pool of the lineage holders, you and Martin. I don't want to start a battle, but I don't know which way I'm leaning, one or the other. No, no. All right.
We had some bombers, so if anyone wants to speak, we just have to unmute you because we muted everybody. So
That's a good idea. Yeah. Oh, no one here? No one have any? We have a beautiful afternoon breeze. All right, I'm going to describe what's happening. Afternoon breeze with a little bit of chime thrown in. Very nice. Yes.
And Wendy has her hand up
Oh,
now.
sorry. Come back a little bit. All right, Wendy.
Hi, my name's Wendy, and thank you so much, Paul, for this meeting. I have been listening to you loads on YouTube, and you were talking there, and I was getting ready to rewind to hear it again because that's how I've been listening. Um, what was I going to say? I don't even know what they asked. I have so many questions, and I can't even think of one now. But yeah, I started listening to you this about 5 months ago, and I've read all three of your books, and I kid you not, the freedom I have from this message is unbelievable. Um, the only thing I want to ask you is like, I don't know whether I'm becoming a wee bit more like my husband will tell me I get up every single morning. I'm in recovery as well, so I'm on 12-step program, and
Yeah.
I listen to this message first thing in the morning. I used to go to meetings like I used to have to go to 20 million meetings just to keep my head right. But now, like the chatter's still there, and you've said that it won't go away, and I get that. Um, but I just feel like every time I feel like I'm getting some sort of peace of mind, that it just goes absolutely crazy a couple of days later. And I've been using the step 6 and 7, like you've talked about. I know this is not this is a non-duality meeting,
Yeah.
but now it's hijacked that, and now it's like,
No, honey, it says it hijacked that. See, that's
okay,
what it does. It commits the crime, and then it looks at us to manufacture, give it consent. Yeah. Just don't say anything against or for, just and watch it for a second. Yeah. It just said it hijacked something. It didn't. Yeah.
okay,
Yes. It's all of its events are seemingly so. They appear to be true. The more true is how much interest you put into it. Yes. The less true is how little interest you put into it. Now, you're not the director of the interest, but I believe if there's a recognition that interest is going to enrich your day on and on, because I believe recovery progresses, and
okay,
that thing of something hijacking everything, you will see the video of the crime, but nothing got hijacked. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, this is what's waiting for you, honey. Just stay sober, don't get up, don't play doctor, and then use whatever you need to use to keep you interested, and know that the interest itself will start dictating what you're going to do and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. We just
Thank
don't
you.
take ourselves so seriously. And what happens is the stuff in the head doesn't go away, but the volume goes down. You
Okay,
see? Yes. There's volume is the real killer.
yeah,
Volume in this case means meaning. So meaning and volume are the same thing when it comes to thoughts. Yeah. The thoughts, the higher the volume, the more meaning they're delivering. Yes. Through that idea of my. Yeah.
yeah,
So
okay,
that's gonna, when you're confronted with that, service is a key. Yeah. Call
okay.
somebody else up, see what you can do for someone else. If it's can't do things, just watch Bloodline on Netflix or something. Because the drama is better than yours. The writing is definitely better than yours. And the production's better than yours. And it's in Florida and it's nice. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of listening to your fucking drama, watch a drama. It works. I did it through 2 knee operations. I watched both seasons. Laid up. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm so highly strung.
I know, honey. Well, again, then service is necessary.
I've got a toddler. I'm very busy with a toddler at the minute.
What?
I've
Oh, a
got a
toddler,
wee,
great.
I-
Well,
I've
then
got a wee
you
boy.
need
He
every
keeps me busy.
inch of your energy with the baby.
But it's like you don't do enough service in AA. You don't do enough of this. You don't get to enough meetings that you should be getting
Well,
to.
it's not that, honey, you have your service, your kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't look, just look down. There's your service, the baby.
yeah, that's so true.
Yes. Yeah. That's the service. It's right. Oh, what's my purpose? Right there
I
it is.
know, I know. Oh
Your
God.
purpose. Mother.
Yeah.
I wanted an exotic purpose. Well, no, just purpose. Yeah. If you recognize it, you're very combustible and highly agitated, then there are things that help for that. Yeah. So you learn how to deal with the action figure, not calling it you, but dealing with the action figure. You learn what it's like and what it's not like, what it's comfortable with, what it's not comfortable. Yeah. So a lot of people find that they go to 4 meetings a week of recovery, it takes an edge off. If they go less, the edge gets sharp. Yeah. Well, that's wisdom. They recognize something. And then what's the remedy? Just add another meeting, go back, and it gets established again. After a while, you can recognize what things have in the role of you traveling later. You'll recognize it. Yes. And it won't be like a mystical, why is this happening to me? You'll realize it. You haven't been to a meeting, or you haven't called up your sponsor, or service is out the window, this and that. And the habit of the head is to see everything pertaining to itself. And we have actions here to break that habit. Yeah. The action figure didn't choose it. The head chose it, really. Yeah. And the action figure does better when there's not so much interest on it, tell you the truth. Yeah. So basically, most people in recovery, the interest and attention is like orbiting very closely, not on their heart level or their genital level, but in the head level. And there's just radio broadcast bouncing back and forth, and you're in this rabbit hole. And what, for most people, what works is to take an action, to get out by doing something for someone else, like a stranger, to break that little trance. And after a while, they'll, instead of having this closed loop, there'll be a lot of openings. So the attention and interest, even though its habit is still to go here, it can easily get drawn out. Yeah. The head has it like a metal fucking circle. Yeah. There's no exit. It's all this. It's all in here. Yeah. Service like bangs a hole in it. It doesn't have to be. It's fake. It's not metal. It's not opaque. It's perforated already. But then you see it, and the attention and interest leaks out, and you have an experience, and you feel better. You feel lighter. You felt something that you weren't feeling obsessed with yourself. You feel a presence of something bigger than you. You feel available. Yeah. And then you do it again. And then now a new habit is grown. The interest and attention just doesn't go like this. It goes out. And what it brings back becomes an enrichment of you instead of a fucking spiritless servility of you living in this thing. Yes. Yes. If you see people in recovery, there is an invisible orbit around their head, scrambling all messages trying to come in. They are so sure that they're right about how wrong they are, they'll just stay in there. And there are things to perforate that imaginary wall, and service is one of them, probably the most valuable skillful means is to do not to people that you know and familial, because there's stuff around that, but a stranger. Go to a soup kitchen, because when you're giving that person the sandwich, they don't care what you're thinking about. They want the sandwich, and you're delivering them the sandwich. So you may be thinking, I'm very selfish. No, you're being put to use. Your hand went in the bag, got the sandwich, is giving it to the person that wants the sandwich. There you did it. Success. Yeah. Yeah. People, oh, I'm not doing this for the best of interests. The person waiting for a sandwich doesn't give a fuck. You just give me the sandwich and then go to your therapist. Yeah. Don't therapize the moment now. I want the sandwich. Yeah. So yes, I'm with you 100%, honey. You're a lifetime member of zenbitchlab.com. Yeah.
Thank you.
Forget the .com, just zenbitchlab. You're a lifetime member. Yeah. Anytime you want to come, 5 shelters a week, come and drop in. Non-duality recovery, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Oh, Sydney here. Yes. She got the tanning and the chair and one question. That's and a dog, and she got the dog for 15 minutes. You can have it for longer for free. You can even take it home with you. Yeah, you got the combo package. One question. All right.
So you were referring to, I don't know what you said in what exactly, something about a nothing, and we're a little bored and we want something, we want some drama or something. And I was experimenting with this calling for better word, don't know, can't know, don't need to know. And I was able to drop down for like just a few seconds of like really believing that whatever, didn't need to know. And there was this peace that happened, just a sliver, the door opened just a little bit. But I don't know what my question is, but I guess that's just a way of, oh, I don't need to analyze it. I just.
No, you got a free sample.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't wait for the rest of the pie to be delivered. It's already in your kitchen. Yeah. The free sample is not, you're going to get this new surprise in the mail. You already have it. That's what a sample is, really, in this case. The sample of peace by saying, I don't know, whatever. The peace didn't come with that thing. The peace was already there. It was just triggered by that thing. Yeah. Yeah. Because of our belief in inside, outside, sometimes the spirit uses the outside to trigger what's already here. It's not like you're going to have to go out and get the pie. You already have the pie. Not you don't have the pie, but yes, it's available. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what occurs. These things, if they're worthy, will produce the effect, but they didn't produce it. The effect is already, we're always realized. For some of us, that gets triggered by an outside thing. So we satsang or something triggers the always realized. Yeah. But that which triggers, there wasn't no realized and then always realized after the trigger. It's always there. The trigger just points it out, its allness. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you got a free sample, you got a pie on the table, basically. Yeah. This is, if it's true, the truth of it is you are what you're looking for. If this is all true, the truth of it is you and I are what we're looking for. Or like Ramana Maharshi said many times, the greatest mystery, being ourselves reality, is reality wanting to attain reality. That is basically the fundamental answer to all of this, really. This is, yeah, there is, the greatest mystery is why there's so much stubbornness concerning somewhere around or whatever of reality, to the point that it's constantly using reality to look for reality. And this moment, at one moment, someday in the future, you're going to laugh at all your efforts and things. That same thing that was there then is now always. Yes. So wherever or whenever you arrive at, or where, or whatever time or whatever place you arrive at, what already always is, it's always been. Yes. Yeah. And the head would love to have faith with holes, and faith with exemptions. Yes, okay. All right, yeah, but this is very unique problem I have, therefore it's verified, No, faith without that. Faith is you hear the message. What's looking is what you're looking for. And it triggers usually a recognition of going along with just that. You've been using what you're looking for to look for it, basically. And you're there and that lands, and sometimes it will even make a picture, and you'll see in a flash that that's what you've been doing most of the time. So what these people are saying, the greatest mystery, you were the living demonstration of that mystery. This is why they say it, so that because you have it all already. It just needs, you're lighting it from the wrong end of the fuse, so to speak. You're trying to keep something that can't light. It just turn the fuse around, it will fucking blow up the TNT. Yeah, you're trying to light the fucking dead end of the fuse. So this is what they're trying to. They're simple. Seeker and the sought. That's been our lives. There's been one seeker in our life, us. There's been a lot of seeking, different variations, ways. There have been a lot of sorts. Yep. One seeker, a lot of different ways of seeking, a lot of sorts. Yeah. The seeker is the sort, compresses it all. Yeah. All the seeking is the clothing of the emperor with no clothes, which is the seeker. The seeking is how it keeps wearing clothes day in and day out. Yeah. To present itself as the seeker. The seeker has no clothes. The emperor has no clothes. You'll recognize that when you lose interest in seeking, especially for this topic. I have not lost interest in seeking rice pudding. When we were back east, the possibility of trying some rice pudding, which I had many times when I was a kid, and we found one and it had the exact taste that I remembered of the thing, where very rarely happens. So we had a great rice pudding, and the waitress put her hand on my shoulder. It never would happen here in Marin. There would be a lawsuit, yeah, of some kind of abuse. And she wrote the thing on a paper, and she was like not well dressed. And she was just, okay, darling, here's your rice pudding. And it was just like incredible. So I seek a lot of stuff. I seek 50% off sales at thrift stores, though I didn't go today. I seek things. I seek, yeah. Yeah. But I don't seek the seeker, because I found out I'm not the seeker. There's no seeking there. So the sought and the seeker are the same. Before, the emphasis was on the seeker, and then the emphasis was given to the sought. Now they're both negated because the seeker is the sought. Like that. Yeah. Now seek away. And and a lot of times you'll be successful finding shit here. You're not going to be successful seeking what you are. Because you are it. You're not going to pull it off. You'd have to be something else, and you're not. So you're going to fail miserably over and over again. We're just trying to help you a little bit. Yeah. Now, my goals is, I want to get like a bagel that tastes like the East Coast. I can do that. I want to arrive at my authentic self. That happened long ago. Forget that. That's out of your bucket list, bro. You're not going to find yourself out. No, that's all over. That's no, put a kibosh on that quickly. But a lot of businesses have grown around. that pursuit. Yeah. There's the self, and then the self hiding as the authentic self. The authentic self is as bogus as the other self. You're not a thing. You're not a thing that reincarnates into other things. You're never incarnated. You're before that which came after. Yeah. The non-existent thing is truly what came after. The head takes that to be an existent thing, confuses the existence, which is before, with that which came after, which is a non-existent thing. Now the existence is animating the thing like a hand would animate a glove, and we're living in glove world. Yeah. To the point where the glove wants to use the glove to find the hand. The hand's not gone anywhere. It's the animation of the glove. I'm going on an exotic journey to find the hand, all the while using the hand to do it. We're just saying you're not the glove. And then life may pull it out, but you may find yourself back in the glove. So what? You're knowing you're not the glove makes it much easier to be in the glove than thinking the glove is blocking you off from tons of shit. Yeah. It is. It's just much easier. It is. Yeah, like the big thing is get the glove off when you're gripping it from the inside completely. Why? There must be some glue in there. It's the cherishing of self. Yeah. How are you going to break out of that? It doesn't want to. Yeah, it wants to say it wants to. It doesn't want to. It will sign up for 60 years of trying to get out of the glove, but realizing it's not the glove, no, there's no interest to it. It doesn't. It doesn't have any interest. Yeah, it just wants to be oh, I hate the glove. The glove has stopped me from a lot of things I would have done, like glove-like things. Yeah, that's just a simple message. You can pound away at it every day. You can. Or you can just, you'll hear it, you'll get through, and that's where faith abides. Yeah. Faith doesn't mean you have to hear it thousands of times. It can be one time. I hope you just enjoy satsang. It's a nicer thing to do than a lot of other things you can do. Really, to sit in the association of with truth is fucking great here. It's not, it's a rare event here. We're mostly associating with stuff that isn't true. Truly, a lot. Yeah. We're here now. Sat means truth, and Sang means association with, or the, the community of truth. Yeah. So, and you can feel it. This feels different than a Tupperware meeting. It does. It does. Even though I'm going to get a Tupperware, at least from there, I'm not going to get anything here. There's a feeling, and the feeling is so vaguely familiar. It's always been the same feeling. Well, same sense, thousands of satsangs. Yeah. Now the people have been different and stuff, but they change. But that feeling never changes. It's the same. It's such a it's such a consistent sense of something that it becomes very familiar. You become very familiar as it. Yeah. There's not many other things. Because satsang really doesn't divide, it's not gonna, hopefully it doesn't. Sometimes the satsang itself, there's a division, because some people believe there's someone who's giving the satsang, and then there's the people that are hearing the satsang, but that's not what's happening. Yes? The hose never gets wet, you know that? The plastic hose never gets wet. That's why the water, it's a perfect conduit for water, because it doesn't get wet. Yeah. So some energy comes through. This is a husk. It's coming through. It's like the flute that's empty and has a couple of holes in it. That's why why it can, but with a breath going through it, it can make music. The flute doesn't do it. The flute, not one note has ever grated the inside of the flute. Yeah, it just was smoothly, it was built perfectly, not to hold or be anything like what moved through it. Yes, that this is what a non-existent thing is. So when someone says that non-existent thing is enlightened, you're going to be probably disappointed later, because they may get dementia as the non-existent thing. They may be putting their robes on backwards and not knowing what, and you'll be going, what? I thought he was enlightened. That's right, you thought something. It was like thinking the hose is the water. Why it's a hose it's not the water. That's why it's a hose. Spirit doesn't come through spirit. Spirit is coming through a non-existent thing. Where would you see spirit coming through spirit? There would be no direction. Yeah. The hose is perfectly capable of carrying the water because it doesn't get wet by the water. Yeah. It just goes, feel it, feel the hose. It can be watering all day. When the water stops, it's fucking, you couldn't, there's no water left on it, nothing. It was a pure, and this is what we can be. We can be like an instrument and something moves through you. The instrument, it's folly to think that it's the doer of what's moving through it. That would be a big mistake. You've seen how many people were you moved by when they were younger, like Rajneesh and people. They were incredible what was coming through. A lot of people, a lot of times. And then something could happen where now they're wearing like platform, what you call thongs, and we had the heliport like on their shoulders and really cool hats. And they were walking out like they were out to lunch, like they were Thorazined out. Yeah. You can't say, oh, that's him, and say that's him the early. Yeah. It wasn't him in the early days, and it wasn't him at the end days, because it never was him. Yeah. He was something was expressing through that hose. And this is what happens. We're moved and given nourishment and everything from the water, but we want to be a hose. We want to be the non-existent thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we are perfect conduits of something here, because we're not of spirit in a way. We're of appearance. Whatever can be perceived cannot be that which is perceiving. So that would be the water, that which is perceiving, and the perceived is not that which is perceiving. So we're the hose, so to speak. Thank God, it's great that we're not, but we are playing the role of a hose here. This event, yes? So much shit comes through us all day. I've heard great wisdom, someone who was totally fucked the night before, and then the next day. But in 1 minute, there was so much clarity coming through him, because it didn't matter. Nothing was owned. He was just empty enough for that second for something to come through. And then that thing was closed and the head got over again, and then he was fucked again that night. Yeah. So, but okay, I think that's it, eh?
David
All
does
right.
have his hand up. Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
Hey, thank you, Paul.
Rosalind, never gonna get it.
There was just one thing you said made me kind of interested when you talked about like going through the door and then on the other side it locks. And I was thinking about also when you talked about when you get a big whack or something, and then you're surprised when things that were mechanical aren't moved, by that experience. And it was making me think also about the claiming of an epiphany, like that it's watching what we're not do that mechanical action is not really like the lock that gets our attention and interest. It seems like it's the second step of the involvement in like making a problem out of that. Like there's like a second level of claiming, it seems like. It seems to be the lock that catches the interest and attention, because now, you know, it's a problem. So there's another level of claiming there.
Yes, there's always going to be two aspects. There's going to be the claiming and then the observer that comes from that. So there's claiming, and then there's a observing of that, and then the observer is the claiming of the observing of that.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
So
It's
if I believe you only have to go back two things.
right.
It's not it's not non-50, it's non-2, which is grace. Huge amount of grace. If it was non-1, it wouldn't have worked. Non-2, perfect. Non-50, yeah, no,
Yeah, it's
not 2. So what is it? Conscious contact, claiming. Okay, so the seeing is now the seer. And then there's a seeing of the seer, yeah, and then that is claimed. Yeah, so there's the objectified self, and then there's the seeing of the objectified self, and that critiques it and goes off on it, and you should be better and this and that, yes? And then there's a seeing of that, and that gets claimed. So now you become the witness or the observer, but it's of the same cloth of the self, the selfing. So if you see the conscious contact, you see the first reaction is mechanical, and then you'll see the second reaction that was critiquing it as if it was personal, like you chose to do all this shit. You'll see that also as not you. And then I feel there's a lot of space there. Yeah. Yeah. I think if this is a dance, it's a two-step dance. Not two. You don't go on the dance floor, you step off the dance floor. Yeah. Yeah. You go backwards. Just like we were talking about the other day. We start as a shoe instead of the foot. And then as a shoe, it's, these shoes are made for walking. So there's spiritual path. And this is just what we'll do. We're going to walk all over or through you, But if you took the foot out of the shoe, from the foot's point of view, it would see things much differently. Yes? Wouldn't it? Obviously. Yeah. So the head has us believing we started with as a shoe. Yeah. And therefore everything's going to be a path and we're going to do this and do that. But if you find yourself before you're the foot, see what happens, who knows? Who knows? Like you said, you won't have to be saying it. It will be actually like the space you're in. Like, who knows? I mean, we have a lot of ideas of knowing, but you wear them loosely because you could be totally negated any second. Yeah, we have no idea what's going on as a non-existent thing, literally. Yeah. 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 All right.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Cafe open soon. 2:13. Hey, everyone, bring your lotion, tanning lotion, back to the office. And the towels, don't leave them on the beautiful cushioned loungewear. And no one leaves with the bathrobe either, the Zen Bishlap bathrobe. Leave them all. Here on Make Sure. Keep an eye. Okay, David and Natalie. Nice to see you, Dave. Eric at Santa Barbara. Yeah, come on up, Eric. Just let us know 8 months in advance. No, just give us a call. Shannon Corkery, thank you. Did a great job. No Zoom bomb came in. Mike Clark, as always. Yeah. Axel, our man in Germany. Achilles. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. You're one of the comets that comes every once in a while. It's nice, thank God. You're in the Haley Comet group. Yes, I think you once every 2 years now. That's pretty good. I'm not that. Not that. Get longer. Yeah. Angelica, nice. Nice to see you, honey. Miss Raven, there she is. Oh, Vanya Green and her accomplice. Yeah, it's nice to see you both. Remember the characters that came over our house? Oh, here's Rosalind. Look at how she's taking the news. She's never going to get it. Smiling, finally. Finally, it's broken. Yes. Yes. Kenneth, thank you for sending me that lovely donation. Very much appreciated. Yeah. Another Paul, yes. And another Paul, and another Paul, and another Paul. Yes. Kerry, as always, a man in Hawaii. Chris says hello.
Hi, Carrie.
Everyone here, Mia. Yes. We got a friend from visiting us from Australia. Very nice. Here. Got Stephen R. Nice to see you, Ian. Graham back in Spain, I gather, somewhere. Ariane. Ah, Ariane, how are you? Yeah, good. Good. Good to see you. Vlad, as always, Portugal. Yeah. Vlad is never far away. It's very nice. Chris H. Nice to see you, Chris. I don't know if I can get to the next page. Let's see, no. Because we have no, I can't. Hold on. Let's see. Whatever. I'll say hello, goodbye. Really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. It's a lovely way to spend a day. Everyone, we're having a really nice day today. We have the sentinels. We have 6 redwood trees that protect us from the south. No, the east. Yes. It's very nice. Hope to see some of you somewhere. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Night, Ellen.